So I recently discovered how to drift in Roblox Drift Paradise with manual gears. So today I will be teaching you how to do just that, and for that I would recommend that we start off at the base plate. So we're going to load up the base plate map and then we are going to get started. Now the way we're going to do this is that we are going to start slow and then we're going to speed up. So what I mean is we're going to start off in the first gear, then we'll move on to the second gear and then third gear and so on. So first off, I'm going to spawn my car right here. Here we go. Okay, so this may sound weird, but I actually play with mouse, not with the keyboard but the mouse. And the reason is that in the keyboard you sort of have what do you call it, a digital input. You can either press a button or you can't press a button to turn, so it's sort of hard to control, if you know what I mean. But when you go into the mouse control, you have full control over what degree you want to turn. So you can see here that I am in the mouse control and here I am on auto transmission. Now I'm going to press M on my keyboard and you can see it says ST, and that means that it is switched to manual transmission. So you have your buttons Q and E. E shifts up and Q shifts down. So now what we're going to do is practice this. We're going to go into the first gear, start rolling, drift, move back to first gear. Okay, so let me explain how that works. You're going to start rolling in first gear. Wait. First, there is one thing that you need to understand. In the physics of Drift Paradise, every gear has a certain limit. Let's call it the limit of drift, the drift limit. So what the limit basically is that when you're going slowly, your car will drift. Even in the first gear, you can see my car is drifting. But if you speed up enough that you exceed the drift limit, there will be a point where your car simply will stop drifting. It will grip the road and it will not drift at all, no matter how much you turn. So what we're going to do here is that we are going to go into first gear. Let me stop. Okay, so we're in first gear here. We're going to accelerate nice and straight until we exceed that drift limit, and now you can see I am not drifting at all. Now we are going to initiate the drift. So let me explain how that works. Once you hit the once you exceed the drift limit, hang on, there we go, you are going to turn. That's the first step. Turn just a little bit, and then you want to shift up to the second gear. So what that will do is, watch, you can see the car spins out. So that's the second step. Step 1, exceed the drift limit. Step 2, turn. And step 3, shift up. So remember, first turn and then shift up. So don't do it at the same time, or don't do it too early. You want to turn first and then you want to shift up. Okay. After that, you're going to go into the next step, which is countersteering. Now this is the part which takes practice, and it's more of a feel thing. You have to turn left and right in order to control the drift and keep it going. And the way I like to practice this in pretty much every drifting game is by doing donuts. So we're going to start rolling, turn, second gear, and I'm going to try and keep the drift alive and drift in a circle. You can practice with big circles, you can practice with small circles. I'm going to go into a smaller circle here. Hang on. Okay, I can't I can't go into the small circle, but yeah, practice doing donuts and practice making a nice round circle on both sides, both left and right. So let me try that again. There you go. You see, follow uh, your tire marks and try to make a nice circle. That wasn't too good, but yeah, it was decent. You can see the circle. Try to get it as perfect as possible. Okay, so once you've got the feel of that, you're going to, once again, let's do a quick recap. Exceed the drift limit, turn, shift, and countersteer. Countersteer, countersteer, and once you're exiting the drift, shift down. That's the last step. Shift down so that your car doesn't drift anymore. So I'm going to demonstrate it right here. Hang on. Okay, we're moving and we've exceeded the drift limit, as you can see. Turn, shift, countersteer, countersteer, and shift down. And just like that, you can see the car has completely stopped drifting. This is actually a lot simpler than I thought it would be, because when I first started out with manual drifting, it was such a pain. I really couldn't control the car. But this was, once I discovered this, drifting has become so much easier for me, and I hope it will be for you as well. Now what we're going to do is try to take that into some different map. So let me go back to the main menu. Be sure to practice that as much as possible. Remember, practice makes perfect. Okay, so I would recommend something like the racetrack, because it number one, the difficulty is easy, and number two, the turns are much shallower. They're not as tight. So let's wait for this to load. So once again, we are now in the racetrack. We're going to spawn the car. Yeah, that's 14. Here we go. All right. Wait, what is this UI? This is a bit different than before. What's happening? Oh yeah, there we go. Okay, so manual transmission, first gear. You can see it's drifting, but if I speed up, it's going to stop drifting. See? Oh, sorry, mouse. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so first, you can see I'm not drifting right now, which means I've exceeded the drift limit. Excuse me. And we're going to do exactly what we did, but do it slowly. So approach a turn, shift up, countersteer, shift down. That's it. Don't try to hold the drift, just do small, nice, controlled drifts. Once again, turn, shift up, countersteer, shift down. Just like that. Turn, shift up, countersteer, 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 shift down. So slowly you can start increasing the what do you call it? The duration and the length of your drifts. And yeah, once you get used to this, you can start doing something like this, where you go into second gear. You can see I'm drifting. Oh no. Now this is where the problem starts, at least for me. First gear, here we go. Now second gear, and now in the second gear, oh my god, hang on, let me go back to the base plate. Okay, so we're back at the base plate. Now once you get used to driving in first gear and then drifting in the second gear, like so, you want to move up a bit and you want to shift everything up one gear. So right now you're driving in first gear, so now you want to try driving in second gear. So right now you see I'm drifting, but in the second gear I want to speed up enough, and now you can see I have exceeded the drift limit of the second gear, and now even in the second gear I'm not drifting. Now I'm going to do the exact same thing, except that instead of shifting from the first gear to second, I'm going to shift from the second up to the third. Watch. Turn, shift up to third, countersteer, shift down. Now you can see that I spun out there, and the reason is that the higher you go in the gears, the more difficult it's going to be to control your car. So third, here we go. Okay, that was a little better. That was better. So, like I said, practice makes perfect. And I only recently just discovered this, so I'm only comfortable with driving in first and drifting in second. But yeah, hopefully soon enough I will have enough practice to drift in the third gear as well. And this goes on all the way up to the fourth and fifth gear, you know. So the main thing is practice, 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 and that's it. The more you practice, the easier it's going to get. So yeah, that is going to be it for today. That was the how to drift in manual transmission in Roblox Drift Paradise. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you're going to have fun drifting in this game. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.